Hi, my name is Rochelle, and the movement that I wanted to discuss is prison abolition. As per Wikipedia, the definition of prison abolition movement is a network of groups and activists that seek to reduce or eliminate prisons and the prison system, and replace them with systems of rehabilitation that do not place the focus on punishment and government institutionalization. Prison abolition started in the 1980s after the war on drugs. Leaders of the movement argued that too many nonviolent offenders were being sent to prison. They believed in alternatives that could rehabilitate offenders more effectively than prison. Original leaders also began to notice that prisons were seeing an increase in minority and poor offenders. Abolitionists also believed that only offenders being sent to prison were those who could not afford a lawyer. I believe that this movement has not gained a lot of momentum since the beginning because the idea of complete abolishment seems extreme. This system has been working for a lot of people over the span of generations without fail. As most of us were the generation, or raised by the generation, that believed if it ain't broke, don't fix it. However, that's only part of the story. I started learning about prison abolition movement in the heat of Black Lives Matter. While Black Lives Matter was the centered movement, there was a lot of new voices speaking out about related issues that are just as important. One of the ideas being prison abolition. From there, I only seen a few content creators speak up about this issue, but not too much about action. Just like the video we watched this week in class, it is change we want to be seeing implemented on institutionalized levels, not just digital. For the few content creators I've seen talk about this issue, a call to action is only called when it's nearing election. Part of this movement I believe a lot of people are aware of is the decriminalization of marijuana. Since its legal status has gotten green-lighted in a few states, there are a lot more small businesses popping up selling recreational weed, while there are still people, mostly people of color, whose lives have been ruined because it was deemed a federal controlled substance. In December of 2020, the House passed a bill to decriminalize marijuana at the federal level and set up a process to expunge previous convictions. I don't know if we could put the whole credit on the prison abolitionist activists compared to the weed activists, but it's a win for the nonviolent offenses. Prison abolition is an almost utopic goal. It takes time, and these small victories are what push the movement forward. I believe that this movement needs much more social currency. It has many triggers, it pulls on strong emotion, it's pretty public, it has great long-term value, and each prisoner has a story. However, because of its extreme view and end goal, it seems intimidating to share and talk about, especially with the political tension happening right now. But just like the decriminalization of weed and the process of expungement, you see this fight in many ways. They just don't really call it by its name. Maybe a rebranding would actually help, or maybe this slow burn is what is needed. For me personally, I will and I do continue to publicly support prison abolition, and will talk about it to just about anyone who's actually willing to listen.